Today's guest brings serious black belt energy to the business world. Matthew Brenner is the founder of Double Your Dojo and works with martial arts school owners across the country to help them grow without relying on gimmicks, hacks, or paid ads. What makes his perspective powerful is that he teaches discipline-driven growth, not viral hype, not shiny objects, just real systems. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
So I want to go first, before we go even deeper into that, about your background. Tell me a little bit about your background and what you do and kind of where you got to where you are now.
So I've been doing martial arts my entire life. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom, she decided to sign me up for martial arts classes. And I was a really shy kid, like super shy.
Which I would never believe now as adults. Yeah.
Yeah, know me now. We have like I've known you now for about a year, and you would never expect that from me as a kid. And like, I have a lot of siblings. I have 5 sisters, and when their friends would come over, I would hide. I would hide in closets. I would go under the bed. If we're at a restaurant, I would never want to order myself.
Yes.
And my mom, she said, "Hey, I want to sign you up for karate classes because I heard it's really good for confidence." So one day she signed me up, and I remember I really did not want to go. It was Saturday morning. Rugrats was on.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way I'm going to this class. But she like basically dragged me, right? Put me in the car, drove me there. And I'm in the class, and there's all these loud noises. There's people screaming and yelling and making all these, like karate martial arts noises, right?
Yeah.
People breathing heavy, sweating. And I'm like, man, how do I get out of this? So I did something that every kid does when they want to get out of a situation, which is I just threw a temper tantrum.
Right.
Started crying and yelling, banging on the mat. And the teacher comes over here. He tries to console me, but I'm just, he is so upset.
Don't want to be there.
Don't want to be there. Eventually, my mom like storms on the mat. I look at her. Her face is completely red. She's embarrassed. Like that's a child like screaming, and like everyone's looking at me. And she grabs my ankles and literally drags me off the mat. And I assume like, okay, great. I'm never gonna have to go back to this class.
Like I won.
Yeah, because they haven't watched Recess and or Rugrats on Saturday morning. And what she explained to me later in life, I was like, hey, like, why did you keep on bringing me back there if I embarrassed you? And she said, well, the reason if you would act like that is the exact reason why I need to keep bringing you. So martial arts is something I've done my entire life. It's kind of in my family too. My brother does it as well professionally. He started a franchise called Action Karate, where there's 36 locations around Philadelphia, New Jersey area. So I'm doing this my whole life, and I opened up my first school when I was in college. I thought I wanted to be an attorney. I thought I wanted to wear a suit and work in a high-rise downtown. Yeah. After a couple of internships where I got to kind of experience a little bit of that life, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I don't want.
Right.
And those are great jobs for certain people, but like for me, it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to have a job where I have a direct positive impact on someone's life, right? So if you sell washers and dryers, you sell insurance, you sell cars, you help people in a really tremendous way. People need a way to get from point A to point B safely or clean their clothes, but you don't really feel the impact that you have on someone's life. And in martial arts you do, and they come on the mat, like they see you as someone that's improving their life personally.
And you're an example.
Yeah, so I'm an example of that.
So even just in your childhood, yes.
Yeah, so it helped me in such a tremendous way that I was like, I want to help other people achieve that. Now, I didn't know I could make any money doing it. I thought it was like something people do as a side job.
Yeah.
Even though by the time I was a teenager, my brother, who's older than me, he already had like 12 schools. Like he had like a flourishing business. But even though that was my brother, I still didn't think I could make good money on it. And one day we sat outside of my parents' house, and I just finished up one of these internships that I was just, when I looked around the room in this high rise in downtown Philadelphia, everyone just looked really kind of depressed. And they looked like they had no job security. And like, on the outside, they looked like all professional and and went to fancy meetings and conference rooms and, ate at corporate lunches. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, when I saw the inside of it, when I was in all those meetings, I was like, damn, like these people are just basically always on the chopping block. People are always upset at them.
Yes.
And
a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And they had no control over their schedule whatsoever. And I wanted to have more
freedom.
Yeah. Freedom for myself and my time. And my brother sat me down. I was like, hey, here's how much money you could actually make in martial arts. And I was like, what? Like you can make a full-time job? Like you can make 6 figures teaching martial arts and running a school? And he's like, yeah. So then I opened up my first school when I was a senior in college.
Oh, wow.
I told all my professors, I was like, hey, I'm opening up a business. Don't care about school anymore. I said it nicer than that at the time. But I was like, what do I need to do to graduate?
Right. Got to get my degree.
Yeah,
Yes.
help.
Yeah.
And my teachers were super supportive of that because I approached it in a really nice way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, here's the baseline stuff you need to do. If you do this, you'll graduate. And I started my first school, ran that for about a decade, opened up a couple other schools. And then eventually I decided, hey, this is great, but I'm ready for the next level of my career.
Mm-hmm.
So I left the family business that my brother started. Now there's, over 30 locations.
Wow.
And I left the family business, which is like ripping a part of my identity out. It was one of the most difficult decisions, actually not one of the most difficult decisions I made in my entire life.
Yes.
I mean, a year of deliberating back and forth of like, how am I actually going to do this? Because now it's like the guy who runs this business, it's his like younger brother that's leaving, right? Not necessarily the best look on the business.
Right.
But it was nothing that necessarily he did. It wasn't
personal in that sense.
No, it was just like I was just ready for another part of my career.
Yes, the next chapter.
Yeah, and as a younger brother, I didn't want to be like stuck in my older brother's shadow forever. So it's probably one of those things that is probably pretty predictable with like siblings or people in the family business.
And let's be honest, if you really had to go back to that, you knew how it worked. You always could figure it out and go back there. You weren't like stuck.
Always could, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're absolutely right. Like, my safety net as a business, I know how to run, and I can run anywhere, really. So I decided, hey, like my next level is, okay, how can I help other martial arts school owners outside of our territory learn how to grow? And then I sold one of my schools. I still have a couple other ones, but they don't require a lot of my attention. This one did. Moved in with a girl, moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, which is where I met you.
Yes.
And took that kind of like leap of faith.
Yes.
But martial arts gave me the confidence to do that sort of thing.
Yes.
So I feel like at some point, everyone should try martial arts. Maybe not forever. You don't do it forever, but I feel like everyone should try it at some point. Because it really does give you the confidence to try something that you might not be good at. Like there's a certain feeling.
People are afraid to fail. And I think there's no fear in that. Like sometimes you have to just try something new.
Yeah, and be okay with failing.
Yes.
In martial arts, we call it having a white belt mindset, which is like, okay, I may be a black belt in accounting, a black belt in social media,
right?
But I'm not a black belt in this new business or this.
Yes.
Maybe I want to open up a laundromat as an investment or something like that. Like it's okay to start over again. And even now, like I've been doing the consulting. Martial arts consulting full time for about 1.5 to 2 years, part time like a year or two before that. And so now I'm like, okay, well, what's going to come next for me? Not necessarily because I always want to switch gears, but because like I want to be able to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. And that's growth. Like you want to keep growing, you want to keep building. I think immediately when I met you, I feel like I could relate to you a lot in business because I grew up in dance. So I was dancing since I was 3, competitively, and then that led to theater. And it kind of led through my whole career path to where I am now. But that discipline of showing up to class every week and showing up prepared and ready and having to be present, and whether you want to go or not, you have to be there. Then I also taught dance while I was getting my master's and focusing on social media. That was always still part of me. And it kind of still is because I have some clients that are studios and some clients that are theater schools. And you kind of can carry that into your business world. But I think it gives you the confidence to be like, oh, aren't you afraid to get on stage and, speak about marketing? And I'm like, well, no, because I have that theater and dance background where I've gone on stage and completely, surprised myself and did better than I thought, or I've messed up and you just keep going and life goes on. So when you have that experience, it does build. And then something else that you brought up too is you kind of have to do. So when you were telling your professors like, okay, I got to get my degree, I'm starting my business, of course they were happy to support you. And at least it sounded like they were, because I saw Gary Vee did this post the other day where he was like, to learn swimming, you have to swim. To learn whatever you have to do, you have to do it. You can read 1,000 books. You can study, watch a bajillion podcasts, but sometimes you kind of have to just either fail or succeed or try, but just do something.
Yeah, I guess my question for you is, let's say you didn't do dance.
Yeah.
And it was never part of your life. How do you think you'd be different now?
I can't even imagine because I danced since I was 3. Like I never not. So I think I don't even know how that would work. And I think even in my adult life, now I'm 30, I take fitness group classes. Like that's just, instead of dance class, now it's fitness class, but it's still falling in line with that regiment, that routine. It's not like, oh, I don't feel like going today, or I have to listen to what they say. Like I do it. So I think that's an interesting question because I don't know.
If you had a child, would you require that? Like, or you have to do dance for a certain amount of time? Or
So no. So actually, even when I was young, my parents, they made, so I obviously I danced since I was young. So I loved it. And that's all I wanted to do at the time. But they made us do other things too. So I did Girl Scouts, I did soccer, I did softball. I hated all sports. Like anything with like a ball that I had to catch or throw, I was miserable. I was like, I don't want to, I did gymnastics. They made me do it all. And then they said, you can pick what you want to focus on and pick what you want, but we want to make sure that you're well-rounded and you have these team aspects and we don't feel like you were either way. And they weren't heartbroken either way too of whatever I picked. And I think that I would do the same thing as a parent. You try to give them all the, activities or all the experiences that you can, but they're going to ultimately pick what they want to do.
So you wouldn't say, hey, you have to do it for a certain amount of time or anything. Like, hey, whatever you want to try, go for it.
I think the big thing is that you never quit. So you finish whatever it is out.
Yeah.
So yes, try, but you could never, I was never allowed to I hate soccer, I'm going to quit soccer. You have to finish the season out. You finish that year out. You do that recital. You do that. You have to finish out whatever it is. And I think it's so funny because I think a lot of people, I think I see it more with the Gen Z, the younger crowd. They're very much like, if it doesn't serve me, I leave. Or like, if it doesn't bring me joy, I quit. And it's almost like sometimes you have to just get through it or you just do it. And I feel like because I didn't have that option of I was never allowed to quit anything per se, have to finish it out. I think that's how I am in my adult life. Like you do it.
Yeah, you don't do everything forever.
Exactly.
But at least finish whatever season or you commit to. You have to do things when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest. That's what I think dance or gymnastics, because I did gymnastics too.
Yeah.
Or martial arts, that's what it teaches you to hey, just finish out whatever you want to do. I think too often what I've seen in more recent years is parents don't really force their kids to do stuff.
No.
And they don't feel like doing it. It's I don't want to be the parent that forces their child to do anything. It's like, if your child doesn't want to brush their teeth, you tell them, it's not a big deal, or they don't feel like going to school, or of course you have to force them to do it because they're children and they don't know what's good for them. And that's what parenting is.
And you learn discipline that way.
Exactly. And if you don't have that, then you just don't have discipline. You get older and you're one of those people that doesn't show up to meetings when you don't feel like it, or shows up late, or just isn't reliable in the workplace.
Yes.
And you become the person that, or your child becomes the person that you aren't, right? Like you became the person you wanted as a parent, so you got to keep your child. So I'm big proponent. If you don't feel like it, cool. You don't want to do baseball anymore. You don't do it forever.
You have to finish the season. And my parents always framed it as it wasn't a punishment. First of all, whatever I had to finish, I still always enjoyed the camaraderie of being around friends, about people. It was never that I didn't love that aspect. I was like, I could care less about the sport. But my parents always framed it of you have to go, but also because you're letting your team down if you don't. Or you have to because you committed to be there. So I think even in my adult life, people always say oh, wow, you said you're going to be somewhere and you are always where you're going to be. I'm like, of course, if you RSVP to something, you show up to something. There is no flaking out. And I think these skills that we've learned, it does translate to leadership and to adult life and to being successful in business.
Do you think having your family put you in a ton of different activities helped you juggle busy schedules as you got older?
Oh, yes, 100%. I mean, I think I was always overachiever 101. I wanted to fill my time always.
That. Yeah.
And to the point where I went to college, and when I went to Florida State, and I loved Florida State, I was like, I only have to take 4 classes. I guess I'll take 5 classes. But that's it in a week. What else do I do with my time? And everyone was like, you study. But I was like, classes really are kind of easy. So then I got a job. Then I was president of my sorority and president of the dance team. And I started filling all my whole schedule. And my parents were like, no, you don't have to do all those things. Or even my friends were like, you're doing a lot. But I found joy in that. I found joy in kind of filling my time because I always did. So I guess that comes with a price because as an adult, then you're like, do I have to get to relax or do I have to fill my time? But I think as an entrepreneur, you're rewarded with filling your time. I don't think it's a bad skill to have if you're an entrepreneur because then I'm always thinking about what's next, always thinking about how this is going to help, always kind of thinking about, if it's not helping my business, if it's helping me physically or fitness or health wise. So yeah. What about you?
Well, I think honestly pretty similar to you, where I was in a bunch of activities. I also played baseball and basketball, and martial arts was always there. That was a consistent thing. And then the other sports kind of filled in. Played piano too, very poorly, I would say.
But hey, a music instrument is great to know and to have for the brain.
I'm super happy my mom had me do it. I just wish I took it a little bit more seriously. To be fair, my piano teacher had, I think she had like 4 or 5 cats, and I was allergic to cats.
Oh, so you were miserable there.
I was like 100% miserable the entire time. Couldn't wait to leave. My eyes are always like puffy and watering. But when and I also went to a private Jewish school, so we had classes till like 5 p.m. every day, and then I went right to activities. Now, I think there is so when I got to college, I went to Temple University, like, it was easy. It truly was, because like my schedule I had way more free time.
Yeah.
The downside of that, I think, is because I always try to fill my free time as content became more readily available at our fingertips. The more I find myself trying to fill in every moment with a podcast or scrolling for no reason.
Yeah.
So now I actually try to find time to like cut out more things. Like, hey, I'm in the shower. I don't need to be listening to a podcast when I'm in the shower.
Right.
I need to be able to use my brain to think creatively or problem solve.
Yes.
So in the last year, I've made a more concerted effort of like, okay, how do I give myself more time to just think and look out the window?
To be. Yes.
Just be in the moment.
Yes.
And because like obviously we can problem solve so much with our own brain ourselves, and sometimes we just fill with other people's thoughts and opinions.
Yeah.
And it's like, when do we get a chance to actually have our own? And like once a year, I'll go on a hiking trip, and during that hiking trip, it's usually 5 days or so, and I will have a phone fast. Like my phone will be on airplane mode. It'll be in a drawer. I don't touch my phone for 5 days. And it's crazy the amount of anxiety I have, like from not having my phone.
Especially because you're on, and now you're off. And you're on physically, but off in that sense.
Yeah, like everyone thinks it's like freeing. It maybe like by day 4 or 5 it feels good, but the first 3 days, like if my phone is invisible, like in sight, man, it's like, let me just look, make sure this is okay. Let me check this. It's like no, it's really freaking hard, and it's sad that it's so difficult, right? But I think if you work in a creative job or you work as an entrepreneur, you need to give yourself time and space to literally just think without any distraction, because you're going to be able to problem solve or have ideas you didn't think about that you can implement to grow your business.
It's so true. And that leads me to jumping on to this next topic. So speaking of our phones, I think a lot of people have grasped, especially that we're a social media agency, that you can grow your business right from your phone. So that comes at a cost, obviously, because you could be on, you could do so much, but you want to do what you can to make the most of your time and effort, because otherwise you could be on social media all day long. And I think a lot of people think that growth means just more followers, more views, more trends, but really it's not attention, it's retention, trust, and revenue. So what do you think the biggest misconception business owners have about social media and that growth, especially in your industry?
Yeah, well, there's 2 pillars that you need in order to grow your business. And like, it's going to be paid ads and paid advertising, which is going to be usually through Meta, Google AdWords, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, right? And then there's going to be the organic side. And I think most of the time, are you running people's paid ads? Or you're mainly doing the organic? Okay.
Yeah, but I would say 80% of our business is organic.
Yeah, you're going to have the organic, right? So those are going to be the 2 things that are going to market and promote your business.
Right.
But there's part of the organic is not just like posting on social media, but it's getting involved in grassroots efforts. So like in the beginning with businesses, it was all grassroots. You do like community events, and you'd have tables set up for things, and you would just like be involved in the community in any way you could. Yeah. And then we had the online marketplace open up where people now are using social media. Then social media ads became available on Google AdWords and all that. And then people basically shifted to relying completely on that because it's easy, right? And people got a little bit lazy. Like, hey, like this, if I'm not getting new members from my ads or from my organic, or new customers from my organic posts, then like I just need to do better at that. But it's like that's only like one piece of it. It's only one leg.
Yes, I love that you're saying that, because I always say, if you think of like, I take this to business owners, marketing like a pizza pie. social media is one slice of the pie. It cannot replace all of those other efforts.
Yeah, especially like you probably get people that, hey, like we need to have, if they put all their chips into that social media and it doesn't work, they're going to blame you and you're the source of all their problems. If only this was fixed. But the problem is right now there's what's called a trust recession. People trust what they see online way less than they ever did before, right? Especially with AI. I mean, man, more recently, I can't look at any video or any article and think it's true. Like, I look at everything with like, before I was skeptical a little bit. Now it's like, dude, I have no idea if what I'm seeing is true. They say like, as we're recording this, there's the whole war with like Iran and Israel and the United States. And I saw someone like ask like Gemini, like what's the amount of videos that are like real posting about the war? And it said like 70% of the videos are fake. They're either from like other wars or that's the wrong context or they're just made by AI. And so people
It's not helpful.
No, it's not helpful. It hurts everyone. It's a trust recession.
Yes.
So you need to have organic marketing that's built into your business so people get to know, like, and trust you. Yes. And then when you run ads or you post organically, they already know, like, and trust you from seeing you in the community or going to industry-specific events.
Right.
That they're like, oh, wow, this person actually knows what they're talking about. They're real. I trust them. And then they're more likely to buy your services. So for martial arts schools, one of the things I do is I teach them how to create organic partnerships with their local education system. So public and private elementary schools, daycares, and local businesses. That way they can create a funnel. They can create a funnel of new students. Yes. They don't have to buy, that they can get for free with like some sweat equity sort of thing that they work for.
Yes.
And when they have run ads, the people have already see, like, and trust them, right?
The name is there. It's recognized, or the brand, or, oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or my nephew goes to them.
Because people's ads, a lot of times they kind of all look the same.
Yes.
You know, like, and people, they see some ad, they model it, so then everyone's looks the same. So you have to differentiate yourself. And I think getting out there in person will not only get you new clients in general, but also increase the efficacy of any social media, ad buying, anything you do.
Yes.
Business.
And we're talking a lot about acquisition, but also I feel like a lot of business owners focus so much on that and they ignore retention. What is your advice when it comes to that, whether it's in online marketing or just how they're running their place?
What do you think, so I can answer this question more specifically, when you talk to business owners, like what issues do they normally have with retention?
I think it just depends on... I think we're in an economy of people jumping from the next thing. So whether it's student enrollment, for example, are those kids jumping from martial arts studios to martial arts studios, or are they just jumping from activity to activity? How are they getting that retention, or how are they rewarding the attention on social media? Or are they only focusing on future people? Like, for example, with real estate clients, that's an easy one for us to kind of keep building that retention in social media, because we can kind of just keep, so say you sold a house with one of the agents, but they're going to keep posting about tips to maintaining your home in Florida or the new restaurants or things like that. So it's easy to keep them not only as a client, but as a follower, because we're kind of giving them advice and education as it goes. But I feel like a lot of marketing, the goal is just bring new people in. Once they're in, they're in.
Yeah, I think for retention, there's a couple different ways you can increase your retention that we'll use in our martial arts school that are applicable to really any type of business.
Yes.
The first thing is being clear about expectations, right? Letting people know what they're going to expect them to come in your business, how quickly they're going to get results or get their product, or, it's why Amazon is like, hey, you get 2-day shipping, and they'll let you know when your product is coming, and they'll let you know when it's delivered, because expectations matter.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the other part of that is like, if it's a business where, let's say, you are promising some sort of client result, is you need to, a lot of times people use testimonials or case studies for their business to get new clients, but then they forget about using that to motivate their current clients, right? So I think if you have any case studies or testimonials, it can't just be like a marketing thing to get new people. It has to be like, it has to show people who you currently serve, hey, like other people in your spot you are right now, keep on moving or keep on working, then you'll be able to get to this.
I like that. Yeah.
And people kind of just forget about that.
It's so true.
Because it's like, if you don't get results right away, then people often will start looking for other solutions. So the other part of retention is getting them a quick win as fast as possible.
Yeah.
If you don't get them a quick win, people will fall off
It's so true. We do monthly analytics reports, and it's one thing to send the report, but we also make sure to go over it with clients and pull out the data and really interpret it for them. And it's like, look, I know you want XYZ, but look how far you've grown from when we started to now. Like, your engagement's more than doubled, or sometimes it's like 400% increase. I'm like, that is effort there, and that's a win.
Yeah.
Now, the next step, of course, is, whatever, but at least you are showing those wins.
Yeah, you're showing progress.
Wins, yes. And people just want to know that they're moving the right way.
Can I speak to one more point to that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, with retention. And like, they did a study for, it was like, what was it? It was for waiters or waitresses or whatever at restaurants. And they were trying to figure out like how they can get more tips. And one of the things they did was whenever you have a meal, everyone expects to get the meal. Then you say, okay, do you guys want dessert? And let's give you a dessert menu or not. Mm-hmm. And they found that they want to increase tips. What they'll do is the waiter or waitress will walk over before they give the check. They'll either bring like mints or like a cookie or something like that. Mm-hmm. And since it's not something they expect, it exceeds the expectation of what you would naturally get at a restaurant.
Yeah.
They feel like the person is taking care of them, the waiter or waitress, and they'll increase their tips. So something like super simple, just like a cookie, which might cost like 50 cents, right? Probably not even, right? But you're at a restaurant, you think about it, you're sitting down there, you have a meal, and you're like, oh no, I don't want dessert. And then they bring over just a cookie and say, thank you so much for being here. It's like, oh my God. Like, but of course, before they have the opportunity to give the tip, right?
Right, of course.
It's always a special experience. There's wow, like why? Because it exceeded your expectations.
Right.
So if you can do something for your clients they don't expect, and you don't promise it in the marketing, you don't promise it in the sign-up process, but it's something you over-deliver later, even if it's just something small, even if it's something cheap, right? Yes. So for me as a person who helps martial arts school owners as a business consultant, like when people come on board with me, one of the things they'll get that I don't tell them about when they join, so it cannot be part of the sales process, right? One of the things they'll get afterwards is they'll get like discounts at a wholesale martial arts supplier that I've pre-negotiated with them that they can't really get anywhere else. So it has to be like an exclusive discount.
Yeah.
And we'll do that for a couple different services, and it's not expected. So when they're like, oh my God, you get this discount at all these places, A, it costs me zero money.
Right.
It just costs me some setup. And
you're just a middleman there.
Yeah, I'm just a middleman. B, the person who is getting the business, like the martial arts supplier, they really appreciate it because they get customers for free.
Right.
And we'll also send them in the mail, because these are business owners, we'll send them a bonsai tree in the mail. Oh, sorry, not a bonsai tree, a money tree.
Oh, that's
because they're business owners, right? Exactly. So they get in the mail a money tree. It costs me about $65 per client, but they'll get a money tree, and I'll have like my logo on it and like a note on there about their business, how it create like a tree, you got to water it in order for it to grow.
I love that. Yeah. And you're a reminder there too.
And then it sits on their desk as a reminder. So not a gift card or wine that you consume and it's gone, or you forget who gave you that gift card for whatever restaurant. It's something that lives on their desk.
That's a great idea.
So anything you can do to exceed expectations for your client, that's how you create loyalty.
That's a great idea. And I think listeners listening can definitely probably expand on that or do that. I think a lot of people get stuck in their business ops and they forget those little things matter.
Yeah, and it's worth the investment every time. Like they'll always send pictures, like, oh my God, this is so great. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like something that's like cute and personal, doesn't have to be a lot of money, but as long as it's something that separates yourself, like, I don't know, I don't get gifts in the mail from businesses. I've joined $15,000 masterminds. Yeah. They send me nothing. So like,
you're
separate
right.
yourself.
Something else I want to touch upon is consistency beating intensity on social media. I know we talked recently that you were saying you're posting a video a day. I think people forget to be consistent and they try to go all out or go for that one viral video. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I would say you're the one who's a social media expert more than me. I would say I suck and I'm still very much learning.
No, but you're walking the talk there.
At least I'm trying.
Yes.
So yeah, one video a day I think is good way to start. I know that some of the biggest influencers in the space are now saying like you need like 3 to 5 videos a day. Like you need a ton of. And
I'll negate that so fast. I always say I'd rather consistency.
Okay.
I'd rather see, and if you saying one video a day, I was like, oh, that's, definitely a commitment, but you're committed to doing it. Whereas if someone says, I'm going to do a video a day, and I don't know that they're very disciplined, I might be like, oof, because they might burn out in a week.
Yeah.
And then they might disappear for 2 months because they'd be like, I hate social media. Meanwhile, they could have been right on the brink of going viral. Like I had on a client one of the first few episodes. He's a real estate agent, Joe. He did a TikTok a day, and it took him, I think, 28 days to get his first client. Only 28 days, only 28 videos. It wasn't really that, it's not, when you think about it, it's not that much of an investment.
Sure.
But he did 28 videos just talking to his phone, got his first client, and I think they sold, it was $1 million deal.
Amazing.
I mean, that's all it took. But he's like, if I would have gave up on day 20, I would have never got that client. A lot of times people think it's too much work, or I'm disappointed, I didn't get what I need, but it's staying consistent throughout and not giving up.
Do you think it's about discipline issue, or do you think it's about people worried or self-conscious about putting themselves out there?
All of it.
All of it.
A mix of each. I think discipline for sure. I think also people are self-conscious. I think, if I was self-conscious, I wouldn't have a podcast. I wouldn't be putting myself out there having a business. But you kind of hold yourself back if you don't publish the content. And I think people just get discouraged. And there's some memes and graphics, and I should share one when I'll share this podcast. But there was one, it was like, oh, so only 50 people watched your video. Here's a room of 50 people.
Right.
Oh, only 1,000 people commented. Here's 1,000 people. Kind of put it in perspective of, yeah, maybe not 1 million people saw your video, but maybe 2,000 did, and you might have got 5 clients from that. It still matters. I think people just get very discouraged, or they see numbers online, or they see their favorite influencers and they're just not there. But a lot of it also too is just bandwidth. So if all you have in you is to do a video a week for the whole year, then do a video a week.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
And it doesn't have to be super fancy, right?
No.
My best video is not even about martial arts.
Yeah.
It's about how you should treat your parents, and it's a selfie video while I was walking to pickleball.
Yeah.
And it had whatever it was, 400,000 views, which for me is a lot.
Yes.
It's wow, that was crazy. I was not expecting that. Mm-hmm. But the ones that are all polished and perfect, they don't always do as well. So,
and I always say that. I'm like, just put it up there. Authentic content sometimes wins, but also it's good to have the other content too, because if somebody found you from that video and then they check out your others, you do have that balance of the professional stuff too, or you do have the balance of, oh, that's a real person, but he also does polished content too. It's nice to have a mix.
Yeah, it's a good point. And one of the things I always think about for me is I have pretty much been an entrepreneur most of my life, mm-hmm. but my fiance, she works in corporate America, right?
Yeah.
So she's not used to people, or she hasn't maybe dated someone previously who had their own business.
Yeah.
And I'm totally okay, personally, with being cringe on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had tons of videos, I would say, where my friends, send screenshots in the group chat and make fun of me.
You laugh at yourself, then what are you doing?
Yeah, you have to be okay being cringe. No one freaking cares about you, first of all. That's the first part. No one really does care. It's kind of what do they call it? I think it's called spotlight theory, where it's you have a stain on your shirt and you think everyone's looking at it.
Yeah.
No one even notices your stain because all they're thinking about is themselves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you have to be okay just not caring, because first of all, in the beginning, no one looks at your stuff anyway.
Right.
So it's going to take time to get good at it. And for me, my niece and nephew, both, every time I see them, they're teenagers, young teenagers. Yeah. They both make fun of me every time. They go, Uncle Matt, you got to stop posting. My friends all make fun of me because you post. I'm like, oh, your friends are watching. Okay, that's cool. Yes. Much 12-year-olds, right?
So funny.
Spence will comment funny things nice job, Unc, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll make fun of me. But at one point, I'll tell you something really personal. Mm-hmm. At some point, my fiance, she was self-conscious about me posting because obviously we're together. And she was, man, what are my friends going to think? What are these other people in my life going to think? I'm like, I don't care what they think, because my social media is not designed for them. My social media is designed for me to get new clients. Mm-hmm. It's not if I worked in regular corporate America and I just wanted maybe to have my social with friends, that's cool. Yeah. My social media is not designed for them. It's almost an extension of my website or business card, right?
Yes, it is.
So whether they like it or not, I could not care less whether they like my website unless they want to buy my services, right? So at some point, and she might be mad at me for sharing this, so I'm going to say it anyway, I blocked her.
Yeah.
I blocked all of her friends.
Yeah.
I blocked all of her family. So, because she was upset that like how they might react. Now, here's the truth. We figured out later. None of them cared.
Exactly.
Like they found out so later,
I think this is a part where everyone should be listening right now.
Yeah. Like
Real loud.
some of them found out later that they were blocked. And then it became this awkward conversation of like, like they're like, oh, I couldn't find Matt's profile. Like where, what happened? Did he delete it? And she's like, oh no. And she had to have the awkward conversation of like, I had this conversation with him that I thought his profile was cringe and worried about it. And they're like, what basically all of them said was like, oh, I didn't feel that way at all. Oh, I didn't care. I thought it was cool. He's putting himself out there. And it was so funny, the difference in perspective. And eventually, I'm per their request, unblocked all of them.
Yes.
With my fiance, I was like, no, I'm keeping you blocked. I don't care.
Yeah.
Eventually, I was like,
of course.
Right. But like, it's funny that even the people closest to you, right, are going to be worried about you putting yourself out there. So that's why I think people can be hesitant.
Yes.
But man, it doesn't matter. First of all, no one cares. You're not big enough anyway. And no one will care really until like you've made it. And by that point, everyone's going to be like, wow, I was with that person from the beginning. I thought, but until then, they'll just make fun of you.
Yes. And I think people have imposter syndrome too. Like, who am I to put these videos out there? Who is anyone?
Right.
And I think the cost of success sometimes is being cringe. And you just have to start somewhere. Start with 0 followers, start with 10 views. And like you said, if nobody's watching it, no one's watching it. You're right. People really don't take off until it takes off. Do
you have like a trick or strategy you teach clients on how to, maybe they're nervous about getting on camera or put themselves out there?
I kind of just make them do it. Now there's some clients, there's some clients who refuse.
Yeah. Okay.
They refuse. Okay. And if they're paying me to do their social media and they refuse and I could recommend it, till the cows come home and they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. We'll find other ways to go about it. But certain clients, I'm like, if I really feel like, look, you want to go to the next level, this is what we need to do. Why don't you just post it? And I have clients, who've called me late at night or early in the morning, like, I'm nervous about that video going live today, or like, can you take it down? And I'm like, no, we're not taking it down. It's doing so well. And then what happens? 3 people tell them, oh, I love that video. Then somebody else says, oh, that video, I saved it and sent it to my friends. Then they get a client from it. And then they're like, oh, Kassie, it wasn't so bad. I think everyone just has to get over that hump. And there will be people who never will, to be honest. There will be people who are not going to. But I think if I'm putting myself out there, they're kind of following that as well. And other clients they'll kind of start to do it.
Do you think certain people do better? Like I don't know, type A, charismatic people, they automatically will do better on camera, or is it really a mix?
I don't know, because I kind of think even like the quirkier you are, or even if you're like a little shy on camera, it's still you. It's still your personality. I think people are just happy to watch real. In an AI world, I think people are just happy to see mistakes and real people.
Yeah, I think sometimes I'll see people on social media, I'll be like, man, it's like some dorky dude who's not good on camera. But like, what's this guy's name? Like on YouTube, I forget. It's like Outdoors Boys or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's just like some guy who like goes camping in like Alaska or something, and he would just show you how you make a fire and how you do this, and it's like not super well edited. It's just like him, but it was just like real.
Yes.
Right, and has like, I think eventually he quit because it was too much for his family, but like he had like a bazillion views on YouTube, and it was just like this dude without social media. Like, he would not be spectacular by any means. There's probably a lot of people like him. He's just the one that hits record and is willing to post it, and then people really resonate with that. So there's nothing wrong with being yourself or having like, a hot take. I think at least once a week I'm in the shower and I'm like, I'm deleting everything when I get out of the shower. I'm deleting my entire account. Everything is going to be gone. I don't want any of this. I'm so embarrassed. But then, like, by the time I dry myself off with a towel, I'm like, all right, everything's fine.
It's true.
Yeah. Do you ever have that thought or no?
No, I kind of just posted. I have to forget about it. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. But we're going to work on closing out the episode.
Yeah, sure.
2 questions we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
First one is, what's your favorite current social media platform?
I would say personally.
Yeah, it could be personally.
Honestly, probably TikTok. Because TikTok for me is just like, it's not really a lot of business stuff. It's like it's like stand-up comedy, martial arts stuff, prank videos.
Do you do auto scroll on TikTok?
I don't even know what that is. Maybe.
Oh, it's too good. So you can set your TikTok setting when you're watching just to automatically scroll.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It's quite addicting.
Yeah.
So like while I'm doing dishes or laundry, like tasks that I really like can't stand.
Yeah.
I'll have it auto scroll.
Yeah. And like, I don't engage with anyone on TikTok. I'm not. I mean, I post on there, whatever is automatically post, but I'm not like do well on it. But and other social media platforms feel more like work.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here's motivational content from Hormozy, which like can be amazing, but also sometimes it's like too much. Just make you feel bad for not doing
A balance.
Yeah, so I'm okay watching someone, pretend to be an old lady in Prexel at the supermarket on TikTok. Yeah.
So our second question is, what's one social media trend that you wish would disappear?
On social media, there's so much hype around just like making money and being independent, doing what you want, and not enough on like building a fulfilling lifestyle with like family.
Yeah.
I think there's so many influencers that do well, but like don't have a family, and they like, well, I think later in life will regret that. And like, as Hormozy an example, because most people know him, like I love Hormozy. He's amazing. Read his books. I've been to his seminars before. There's a lot of things I freaking love about him. One thing that's hard for me to look up to him for is like he's not a family man. Like he's just not. He has a wife, but they don't plan on having kids. At least they say publicly. And so don't look up to your whatever influencer you have as like, oh, I want to look up to them about everything. Like, yeah, he might be good at some business things, which is awesome, but he doesn't have necessarily the lifestyle I want. He wants to work 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't. I like playing pickleball and snorkeling and doing other stuff. Like, he may make 1,000 times more money than me or more than that, but not necessarily the life that I want. So I wish there was more of like, just like, now I think more than ever, people just flex and just in a world of AI where everything can be faked, anything can be rented, just be more yourself. That's the thing I appreciate the most.
I love that. And Matthew, it's been so great having you on the podcast. And this conversation is such a reminder that growth isn't about hype. It's about habits, discipline, systems, and earning your results. I'm going to tag your accounts so people can follow. And thanks again.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me out here. It was fun.